stream. So welcome, Hanno. Great to have you here.
Hi.
I'm really excited for this talk. So you're going to be doing essentially a mini concert, if I'm not wrong, around how music and software can come together and where they cross paths.
That's correct, yeah.
Amazing. I cannot wait. Did you have a screen to share or was it just you?
Yeah, I have a screen to share. I'll start right now.
Thank you. And then I'll add that in and we can get started. Perfect.
Here we go.
Take it away.
So, welcome to this talk. My name is Hanno Embregts, and I'm an IT consultant at InfoSport. But when I'm not developing software, I try to create as many musical moments for myself as possible. So this talk essentially is about two of my most favorite things in the world. And the first one is making music, and the second one is developing software. And although these two fields seem like two very different things, they are actually more alike than you might think. Consider this list of verbs, for example. I can associate each one of them with software quite easily. I can create software, I can develop software, I can program software, craft software, I can write software, publish software, produce software, and I can run my software. But all these verbs also go very well with music. I can create music, develop music, I can program my music. DJs are essentially programming their music, right? I can craft music, write music, publish it, produce it, and of course, everyone needs running music when we go out for our morning runs. Well, maybe not so much in this time of pandemic, but we used to do this. And then we needed running music, our 165 beats per minute mix. And I think this example shows that music and software are very much alike because in order to produce it, creativity is needed. Musicians and software developers, they are not factory workers. They don't just do a tiny part of a conveyor belt process or do the same task over and over again. On the contrary, they are craftspeople. They shape and they sculpt their products until they are happy with it. And you only allow yourself to stop working once you're happy with it. Now, I think I've mentioned already that music and software are two favorite hobbies of mine. Now, I have managed to turn one of these hobbies into a career. And during this talk, you can make up your mind about which hobby is my career and which is not, after you've heard the music and seen the software. I guess the bottom line is, I love it when music and software come together right now over me. And each time it happens, I feel the happiest person on earth. So, in what ways do music and software come together? Well, I can think of a number of ways. Let's demonstrate one possible way with a code example. Now, I came across this code example on Twitter some time ago, and it immediately made me very happy. In fact, being a musician, I literally can't stop myself from singing along. Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide, no escape from reality. Open your eyes, look up to the skies and see. I'm just a poor boy, I need no sympathy because I'm easy come, easy go. A little high, a little low. Any way the wind blows doesn't really matter to me. To me. Now, this conference, all the talks, may call this talk a session, but other conferences call this a lightning talk, which is another reason why the Queen song is appropriate, because of this part. Thunderbolt and lightning, very, very frightening me. Galileo, Galileo. You know how it goes, right? I don't need to sing the whole song. On that note, here's another classic Twitter hit. Hey Jude, your make is bad. You should fix that compiler error. Remember to let it search the root path. Then you can start to make it better. Well, maybe this is not your genre at all. So if you prefer a different one, here's one for you.
Do class if default from this import abstract. This do Embregts native pub. Try throw for private static. While
now I'll admit right away, this is a very geeky one. Perhaps even a little bit over the top, because why should we mess with these original lyrics at all? Surely tons of popular songs can be applied to software engineering already without altering anything. So let's embark on a small musical journey throughout a typical software development process. Why? I guess because it will be fun, because we're here anyway, and it makes me very happy. And who knows, maybe we will discover loads of songs that have been misinterpreted by the masses for years, because everyone seems to think that in the end, all songs are about love. Ew. You know what? These people are all wrong, because all songs are actually about software development. Yes, all of them. So let's start out with our software development process. And of course, a typical one starts with gathering requirements. Now, whenever a product owner comes to me with some requirements, there was a product owner coming to me just this morning, my music-addicted brain immediately goes, hey, slow it down. What do you want from me? What do you want from me? Yeah, I'm afraid. What do you want from me? What do you want from me? Now, requirements are very rarely immediately clear. I mean, not after the product owner has explained them just once. So in a lot of cases, requirements need to be refined, right? And in general, I'm really eager for some refinement work. Why? Because it makes me very happy just to sing to my product owner. Just thank you for our kid. So appropriate. I love that one. Now, suppose during the process, the requirements were refined, the story was made ready, and it's placed on the sprint backlog. Now, this means we can start implementing the requirements. Now, when I'm coding, numerous songs just happen to pop up inside my head. For example, when I'm calling a method called stop, my brain immediately fills up with hammer time. I can't touch this. You know, my head does this every single time. It's a bit like a reflex because it happens instantly. Oh, it's a reflex and I can't really stop it. Yeah, it's a reflex. I'm effectively a victim here. Oh, it's a reflex. Don't you feel sorry for me? I can't even turn it off. Now, every time I'm doing some conditional logic, this happens. Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but here's my number, so call me, maybe. You never know if that one's going to be called. Or, for example, when I'm handling exceptions, today is gonna be the day that they're gonna throw it back to you. But now you should have somehow realized what you gotta do. Well, what you gotta do is handle that exception, you silly, and do it properly this time. This is dreadful stuff. So my brain is addicted to music. Now, this didn't happen overnight. It's been that way for as long as I can remember. And the majority of things that happen to me immediately remind me of a song. And when that happens, I just can't stop myself from playing it, singing along, though I suspect this was clear to you already. Now, the question is, should I be worried? Does this make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Possibly. Now, I've looked into it and I've researched this song inception thing a bit. And as it turns out, everyone has this ability in some way. For example, what does your brain tell you after hearing this? You know, when I'm doing this one during conferences, I see the whole room go, ice, ice, baby. I can't hear you guys and girls right now, but I'm assuming you're all going, ice, ice, baby. It turns out there are two types of people in the world. The ones who go ice, ice, baby, and the other ones, and they will go, pressure, pushing down on me, pressing down on you, no man that's cruel. Oh, under pressure. See, you have it too. So if you were laughing at me before, just stop laughing at me, or at least start laughing at yourself because you have it too. Also, now you know what to do when asked during a job interview if you can perform under pressure. You know, this interviewer would go, great, so you can do Java, COBOL, Python, Lisp, and Haskell. That's so great. We use all 5 of them here. Also, can you perform under pressure? And you would just push back your chair, get up and go, pressure! I mean, they simply won't be able to resist you. I think it's time for a little code example again. Now, whenever I write a switch statement, this often happens. I'll spread my wings and I'll learn how to fly. I'll do what it takes till I touch the sky. Make a wish, take a chance, make a change, and break away. Don't forget your break statements, folks. Let's assume at this point in time, your code is pretty much done. And the next step is version control. Now, the lyrics to the last song we did, this contains really inspiring stuff. In fact, I think it's perfectly fine to use as commit messages. Haven't I told you? Make a wish, take a chance, make a change. That last one is fantastic. It's generic. You can use it anywhere. And of course, after this amazing commit has been created, we need to push it. Unless you're really into merge conflicts, of course. But before we push our commits, let's have a brief moment of honesty here. Search yourself for a moment and ask yourself the question, do I have a song for this? Because I am quite sure everyone in this, be it a virtual room, has this one song that you secretly hum to yourself each time you type git push. Now, for a lot of people, it could be, push it. Push it. And for others, it might be this one. Push it to the limit. Past the point of no return. If it's the top, but still you gotta learn how to keep it. Stage 5 is debugging. Let's face it, nobody's perfect, right? So bugs will be found in your code. And of course, the most important question is when this happens. Well, what do you think the most important question is? Is it how many bugs are there? How will you fix them? Or how will you reproduce the situation in which it happened? I think these questions are all wrong, because when bugs are found in your code, the most important question is, what song will play inside your head when it happens? Well, when the user files a defect in your ticketing system, what would your most mature and responsible response be? Denial, of course. The first step of any healthy bug fixing process. And to be fair, also a bit of determination. But both responses are addressed by this next song. They told him, don't you ever come around here. Don't wanna see your face, you better disappear. The fire's in their eyes and their words are really clear, so beat it. But you wanna be that, just beat it, beat it, beat it, beat it. No one wants to be defeated. Show me my fucking strong with your fight. It doesn't matter who's wrong or right, just beat it. Just beat it. Ow! Now, when this bug is persistent and denial no longer works, we need a special bug song to start the bug fixing. So without further ado, here it is, the bug song. When you try your best but you don't succeed. When you get what you want but not what you need. When you feel so tired but you can't sleep. Stuck in reverse. Lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you. Now, if Fix You by Coldplay is the debug song, then what would be a good debugging song? Funny coincidence. It's by the same band, and the song is called The Scientist. Now, these following lyrics are so accurate. I think in a past life, Chris Martin was a software developer. There simply is no other explanation, because they have everyone's typical debugging session written all over it. Just listen. I was just guessing numbers and figures, pulling the puzzles apart. Questions of science, science and progress don't speak as loud as my heart. Tell me you love me, come back and haunt me, or in a rush to the start. Running in circles, chasing our tails, coming back as we are. Nobody said it was easy. Oh, it's such a shame for us to part. Nobody said it was easy. No one ever said it would be so hard. Here it is. I'm going back to the start. Oof, and that happens a lot in a debugging session, right? Now, after fixing this bug, we need another good commit message. So I usually use the bridge from Fix You to come up with one. Here it is. Tears stream down your face. I promise you I will learn from my mistakes. Now, if you're doing DevOps or DevSecOps, or the final stage in any case is ops. So imagine the software we created has been deployed to production and you've applied some monitoring tools. Now, when you discover a process is stuck somehow, you need to restart it, right? Maybe even want this to be done automatically, but for the sake of this talk, let's assume you have to do it manually. So what do? You just end this faulty process and start a new one, right? Like this. We're killing in the name of. We're killing in the name of. Funny thing, sometimes ending a process is not permitted, or something has gone wrong while trying. Not sure why, but this happens a lot of times. So what do you do when the operation fails? So you use sudo kill -9, right? Which is, to me, is also known as the rage command because of the sudo, because of the -9, because it feels really good while listening to hard rock or metal. Because when I need this command, I really get angry, not at people per se, but at my machine, my stupid laptop, just like the band name. I have rage against my machine. And it also fits the following lyrics perfectly, this command. And now you do what they told you. 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 You know, that's why it's called the rage command. Okay, so we're nearing the finish line now. And I feel like you folks deserve a word of appreciation because you've stuck with me for the last 20 minutes or so, which had some unconventional content in it, to say the least. So as a token of my appreciation, please accept the following musical poem, and I call it For the Brave Souls. Now for the brave souls who got this far, you are the chosen ones, our valiant knights who toil away without rest to become better versions of yourselves. To you, kings and queens of men, I say this. Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you, never gonna make you cry, never gonna say goodbye, never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. I just couldn't help myself. Please forgive me. Now, all joking aside, every time I deliver good software with all bugs fixed, in cooperation with an amazing team, I feel on top of the world every single time. Now take it in, but don't look down, 'cause I'm on top of the world. I'm on top of the world. Waiting on this for a while now. I'm paying my dues to the bird. So I've been waiting to smile. Been holding it in for a while. Take it with me if I can. Been dreaming of this since a child. I'm on top of the world. So that's all, folks. Thanks a lot for listening. Thank you.
That was incredible. Amazing. I'm going to add everyone in so we can all give you a round of applause. Round of applause for Hanno, because that was one of the most.
Yes, Hanno, this was amazing. I was actually wondering because I saw a version of this earlier, like on JFull, if I'm not mistaken, like 2 years ago, and I was like, "How are you going to do this on stream?" But you nailed it, brother.
I just bought myself a ton of equipment and managed to do it.
This session was a lot of fun. Thank you.
That was amazing. It put a smile on everyone's faces, and we've got loads of comments in the channel saying how amazing it was and that you rock. So thank you for bringing such an entertaining session to our Java track. Really appreciate it.
Okay, no problem. I really enjoyed myself too. So
fantastic. Thanks, Hanno.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, if anyone's got any questions about Hanno's musical ability or anything he's done here, stick him in our Slack channel, and sure. I'm sure Hanno will be on there in a minute to answer any questions you guys may have.
How did you came up with this talk? I mean, if your brain works as you say it does, it must only take 5 minutes, right? Or is it just a little long?
So I hummed these songs already for years, and my fellow developers, I drove them insane, by doing the push it like all day long.
That's going to be in my head every time I get pushed now. I've got you to thank.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, and then I came across this Stack Overflow thread. There's a brilliant Stack Overflow thread on the most funny comments encountered in software code ever. I think it's kept for archiving purposes because it doesn't really address the meta Stack Overflow rules, if you know what I mean. And there are a few golden ones up there, and I immediately thought of songs, and well, then the first version of the talk was born, I guess.
Just for the record, I'm an under pressure person and not an eyesight.
Yeah, me also. And the funny thing is, while this talk existed, a lot of colleagues of mine just Slack or WhatsApp me new ideas for new songs. So the work is done by my colleagues right now. They just, Hanno, listen to this song. You should add it to your slide deck. So it grows and grows.
So basically, if we're doing this next year for another event, we can have a version 2, version 3,
Yeah.
version 4.
It would look a bit different. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
If anyone's got suggestions, stick them in the Slack channel.
Yeah.
And I'll add them.
Give me your suggestions.
I know if you have suggestions. I mean, this should.
Can't wait to see you guys.
That's great.
Awesome.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Hanno. Right.